Welcome back to Jade's Falcon. I'm Jade, this is my Falcon, let's check it out. Hey guys, it's Mick here and welcome back to Jade's Falcon. On today's episode, we're going to drag this thing out of the shed and we're going to give it its first wash in 50 years. Not really, I don't know how long it's been since it's had a wash, probably not 50 years, but it has been quite a long time. So we're going to give both the outside and the inside a wash. We've got a lot of debris to vacuum up from inside of the doors, so we'll do that too. And hopefully we can get this car to a clean enough standard that it's ready to have the interior put back in when we have the interior ready to put back in. So come with us and check out the journey. So here she is, the mighty Falcon, outside for her first time in a long time, but probably the second time since we brought it home. And as you can see, she's looking a bit worse for wear. We're hoping we can clean it up, somewhat respectable, more so the interior, but we do want to focus a bit of our attention on the outside and all the windows. So we'll get started in that and keep you guys posted on our journey. Okay, so this is what we are working with. These doors, unfortunately, have been butchered up in some places. That one over there, it's pretty obvious. And this one here at the top for some reason. I think the back doors are okay. But yeah, this is what we're working with. This is the old adhesive that used to hold the plastic on that sits behind the door card. And some of it's gone hard. And in other spots, some of it's turned into like a goo, like a real sticky goo. So you can see that it's bloody everywhere, and I'm gonna have to scrape it off. So I've been using a method where I just sort of knock it off with a barbecue scraper, and then I'm just going around with a little bit of brake clean on a rag, and it's taking the adhesive part of it off and just leaving it the bare doors. So that's this one. This is our next one here. At least you can see all the stuff. I've before doing this, I've got inside the doors. I've vacuumed them out as well because they were quite full of leaves. As you can see, they've got their share of rust here and there. Some of them are better than others. They're not consistent. Here's the back of the Falcon. It's had its first wash. Actually looks not too bad. That's a new tail light that the missus has fitted yesterday. She took the old one out, put the new one in. It looks good, it's not cracked. That one's good as well. You can see that the glass needs a little bit more work, a little bit more scrubbing. Very, very cloudy and faded the glass is. It's a bit of a telltale to say that it's been outside for quite some time. Although when we picked it up, it was in a shed. We'll have to do the inside of the glass. As you can see, it needs a bit of a go. We're going to take this parcel shelf out, make up a new one as well. But these doors here, these are the ones I've removed all the sticky stuff from. And they look a lot better. Just bring them back to just a nice start again, sort of blank canvas of the doors. We'll need to give them a wash as well. But I've made sure I vacuumed them out before we wash them, so that there's holes in here for all the water to get out, and also so that there's no dirt in there, because it'll turn into mud if we wash it, and then that'll make it rustier. So yeah, so you can see this one here. The paint's actually, that looks like the paint's actually come off. That's primer there. I actually started to do this one, rubbed it a little bit with thinners, and it started doing that straight away. But then even with just like an abrasive rag, you can see it's coming through. So I'd say that this door is not the same as the other doors. This door might have been a replacement door at some point and repainted, and that's why the primer is showing it, and this coat's very light and a different color to the rest of them. But yeah, as you can see, vacuumed it all out to get all the dirt and the leaves out. It was full of dirt and leaves, and that gives somewhere for the water to exit when we do these windows, because these are also just as cloudy as the ones on the front and the rear. You can see the front window there as well. So it's starting to come up better on the driver's side, but yeah, they still need a good scrub. We'll get stuck into the wheels after we've done all the doors. We might have the missus do the wheels, and I'll jump inside and I'll scrub the interior, because we'll need to get that good scrubbing. And once it's all scrubbed, we'll spray some disinfectant down and everything, and then wipe it clear, so that it brings this interior back to a more sanitary state compared to when it infested. The dash there is looking pretty good, considering there's only a couple cracks in the middle. So we'll give the dash a good clean as well, wipe it over, get some vinyl rejuvenator on there. There's a steering wheel from, don't know where, from a Landau or something. Steering wheel needs a bit of work, but yeah, we'll keep at it and you guys can keep watching. Okay guys, here we are with our carpets. So we used a cleaning solution that was degreaser, stain remover, and laundry detergent for clothing, mixed all together in some warm water. We soaked the carpets, gave them a fair dinkum scrub with our electric brush, and then we pressure washed them off. They come up quite nice, but we decided to give them a second scrub and a second wash. As you can see, that we've taken them both on and off of our airing rack a couple of times, just to get them to come up as best we can. With all the interior pieces, we've done a very similar thing where we sprayed them with a detergent solution, scrubbed them down with our electric brush, cleaned them, dried them off, and then we put some vinyl rejuvenator on them, which is a bit of a Bowden's product. As you can see, the door trims had carpet as well, so we basically done the same thing we did with our floor carpets in the door trim carpets, and it actually brought them up a lot better than what they are. They can still do with a little bit more love. These are all the scuff plates that we've got here. We're doing these now with just a basic clean, just getting all the debris off them. There was definitely a little bit of corrosion left over from when they've experienced a little bit of weather in the time that they've been sitting inside the car. But once that had been removed and they were cleaned up, it was time to polish them. So the procedure we used to polish them was we used the Scotch-Brite with some metal polish, getting right into all the little grooves, making sure that it's taken away any of the abrasive bits and the bits of rust and the bits of scale. And once all that had been polished up with this Scotch-Brite, we then got ourselves a drill, a buff pad, put some more polish on there, and then polished them up again. And the end result is incredible. They've come up from being basically a piece of scrap metal back to a piece of shiny steel ready to go back in the car. Moving on to the inside of the car now, we're just doing a little bit of treatment on the floor pans. Now the floor pans themselves are in fantastic condition. There was only a little bit of minor surface rust. Using a wire wheel on a drill and just some scraping, we got rid of all the rust scale, got it back to where the steel was clean, and then applied some rust treatment. Once the rust treatment had cured, it was ready for paint. We went through and we painted all the surface with a Kill Rust primer and then top coated it again with a Kill Rust satin finish. Now this is going to seal up the floor plans and stop them from rusting any worse further in the future. We're quite fortunate there were only a few spots inside of the car that required this treatment, and once they were complete, it was time to look at starting to install the interior and taking steps towards doing that. Welcome to the inside of the boot of our car. So here we are removing the old tail light assemblies. Now this tail light assembly on the left-hand side of the car was smashed. It had a piece of the reflective material missing and a piece of the lens missing. It was in no good condition. We've managed to source a replacement one online, which only just turned up the other day. So we're going to get stuck into removing this old one and getting the new one prepared to put in. A lot of the threads holding this old lamp in were covered in rust. We used a bit of CRC, which managed to help us get some of them off, but not all of them. We had dramas with two, and I think that they pulled out and one of the nuts had actually snapped off. So it was a little bit of a fight to get this removed. As you can see, we're doing a fair bit of back and forwards from the boot of the car to get tools, get a rattle gun. I actually had to get the last one off with a rattle gun because it was no good. But once it was free, we'd expose the rear panel of the car. Now there was a bunch of rust here on this panel, so we did use the wire wheel off camera to get rid of all the scale of the rust, and now we're just spraying it with a rust converter primer. Just because we've been in this area, we may as well hit it with this to prolong it. We're not going to paint the whole boot, we'll just do little sections as we go. But there it is, the missus's first time on a spray can. Looks like she's getting a pretty good job. We just used the light to check to make sure there were any flat spots. There's no harm in putting enough of this stuff on. It stops the rust coming back, or at least inhibits it for a while until we can make it to the body shop. So here we go, look at that. Paint's dry, rust is treated, and there goes the new tail light. So it actually went in a real treat. We used a little bit of CRC on the threads before we put it in, just so we knew that the nuts that we use this time aren't going to seize up, because we are going to need to remove this in the future to get the rust treated, but that won't be in the near future. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. All in all, it was a pretty straightforward job changing out the tail lamp assembly. We're really happy with the way it went. It looks so much better than the broken one that used to be on there. We're also happy that we were able to find a genuine Ford tail lamp to replace the one that we had. But everything seems to be coming together one bit at a time, and it is finally going to add up to us having a complete car at the end of the day. So yeah, there it is. Just take a look at it. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. I've got my work clothes off, so that means tools down. But we've kicked some goals so far with this car, getting it cleaned both inside and outside. Not only that, we've just about cleaned up every little piece of the interior that we can find that needs to go back in, including polishing some of the bits themselves. Also, this tail light behind me is a replacement tail light in much better condition than the one we started with. And along the way, we've done a few little rust repairs and a few little rust treatments just to keep the car in healthy condition before one day going in and getting all the rust sorted. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, jump onto Jade's Falcon, and yeah,